One, two, one, two, one. Oh, hello there. I didn't really know how to start off this video, so I kind of want to do a whole little bit where there'd be two me's, one over here and then another here, and make it a play on the whole DS dual script. Understandable. You're here for the DS collection video. Well, lucky for you, I have DS games, and we're gonna do something a little different this time. I know. When it comes to handheld collecting, I don't like to have my games CIB or loose. I'm not really too picky when it comes to that. When it comes to console games, they absolutely have to be CIB. I'm not gonna have discs everywhere, and I don't like to have those like tiny little disc packaging things that people used to have back in the day, where they put all their discs in them. And you guys know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, here it is. Here's one of them. I recently came back from overseas, and to kind of emulate my experience as a child, I got one of these because I wasn't going to bring a whole suitcase full of PS2 game cases with me to a third world country. So that is how I did that. But overall, yes, DS games, I got them. They're here. And let's just jump straight into it, shall we? Starting off, I've got Bakugan Battle Brawlers for the Nintendo DS. Now, this game, as I do my myriad of collection videos, we're all going to see the fact that Bakugan has made its way into so many different collections that I have. Specifically, this Bakugan game in particular, I haven't really played any of the other ones, nor do I really care that much about anything Bakugan related past like season 3. Like there's New Vestroya and like Mectanium Surge or whatever they call them. Everything past like the first 3 seasons is where my Bakugan kick shines. And to be honest, I did not grow up with this game. I did not grow up playing this game. I just booted up this game for the first time like a couple months ago. So like later in 2025, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? It's like every other console, the DS port. It's insanely watered down. It barely feels like the actual game, but it actually is pretty well made. It's solid. Um, and it's got enough in here to satisfy a background player who's brawling on a budget, who's BBB background brawling on a budget. Next up, I've got Ben 10 Alien Force, Ultimate Alien. My bad. Cosmic Destruction. Ben 10 Ultimate Alien is such a weird season for me. Not to like get into the specifics about Ultimate Alien and Ben 10 as a whole. I think I enjoy a lot more of the Ben 10 OS games, and I mean the one Ben 10 OS game, Protector of Earth. That game is a banger. If you see my PS2 video, I've talked at length about how much I love that game and how much even replaying it like 10 years later, I still love that game. And Cosmic Destruction is one of those games actually that I do really like, or I remember really liking as a kid. I haven't played it to completion since I was a kid, and I don't really have the urge or the desire to play it to completion now. But Ben 10 Ultimate Alien Cosmic Destruction is a game that is pretty faithful to the source material. Kind of feels like it cuts corners a little bit, but a lot of DS games, even like the first party ones, kind of feel cheaply made. So I'm not going to hold it too much against this game. So next up, I've got Cars for the Nintendo DS. Now, Cars on the DS, and I think also on the GBA. I think these are like two. They're basically the same game. I think someone correct me in the comments if you're a Cars fanatic, just like I am, and I'm incorrect on that. But this game is pretty much just mini games. It's just Cars centered mini games, whereas the actual Cars console game is actually a banger of a film, like kids film, that's a game adaptation. Probably the best in that space ever. The Cars console game, being this open zone, uh, surprisingly well made game. Going from this being just mini games is again one of those kind of things I don't like that much about the DS and its library is that like a lot of its games feel very watered down, especially now in the year 2026, and with how many of the comforts that modern gaming has given us. The fact that a lot of games like this are not really very similar to their console counterpart, especially in an era with PC handhelds and such. Having games like this, definitely a blast to the past, but it also makes me grateful for what we have right now. So, but yeah, it just kind of sucks a little. So, but I did play this game a lot anyway because I was a kid and I had nothing else to play, so that was what I played. Moving on, we've got Cars Mater National. I just want to make sure it was a Mater International or whatever, but Cars Mater National Championship. I actually did not grow up owning this game. I saw this game a lot on store shelves, but I never actually picked up this game, mostly because like for the 1 or 2 game slots I had for the year, I wasn't going to use it on Cars Mater National. But this game is pretty good, at least by the little that I've played of it. I think it fixes the issue that the original Cars had, and that it has actual racing in this game. So that's actually pretty dope. It's not just a mini game fest, which I find to be really great. And yeah, overall, not bad. Next up, I've got Cooking Mama. Now, I got this game at the SoCal Gaming Expo in 2025. I had never played a Cooking Mama game. I wasn't really that interested in Cooking Mama, to be honest. But overall, I had a conversation with, shout out Cake Order. I had a conversation with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend loved Cooking Mama. And I just remembered that a vendor that like I saw like right before I met them was selling Cooking Mama. So I went back and I was like, let me get Cooking Mama. Looking at the price tag on the back, this was $20. I don't know if this was worth $20 because I haven't really, booted it up. But I played games in a similar vein to Cooking Mama, so I'll probably somewhat enjoy Cooking Mama a little bit. But I have not actually played this. Next up, I've got Disgaea DS. Now, the Disgaea games, I've only played one, and I've played like the demo of one, is what I should say, at length, at varied length. Disgaea 5 for the Switch, when the Switch first came out, because again, a lot of people, it's a testament to the fact that the demos really were feeding a lot of people when the Switch first came out because there was not that much to play. That was not Breath of the Wild. But I really want to play the Disgaea games, as evident by the fact that I own every Disgaea game throughout all my different handhelds. So, and Disgaea DS is no different. Really excited to jump into this. I think it's just the first one, but it's like portable. But like I think there's also some differences with this from like what I've heard. I'm not that well versed into Disgaea, so please, if someone has other things they could add into this to fuel or supplement, substitute my ignorance, that'd be great. Next up, I've got Final Fantasy 3. Final Fantasy as a series is one that I've been interested in for a very long time. I jumped into 7, and I've started 7 twice, but I haven't finished 7. And I've started 10, but I haven't finished 10. And it's always that thing where it's like, if an RPG is super long, that's, again, one of the issues of being an RPG fan, but also being quite busy, is that you have all this interest in so many different RPGs, but unless like you're actually disciplined, like I'm trying to be, you don't really finish a lot of RPGs. And the RPGs you do finish, like they are the ones where it's like, okay, this is like actually interfering with my regular schedule. But Final Fantasy as a series is one that I really want to jump into and I want to actually become a huge fan of because I love 7, I love 10. 3, I have not played this yet, of course, but of course I do want to jump into it eventually. Next up, I've got Final Fantasy 4. Same thing, there's Final Fantasy 3. Really want to jump into this. I actually got this from an old guy when I was living in Phoenix, Arizona, off Marketplace, and yeah, I don't know if it was his sons or whatever, but I was just like, oh wow, like I didn't think the seller would just be this guy, giving me Final Fantasy 4. Next up, I've got Harvest Moon DS. I've not played any of the Harvest Moon games. I'll be honest, I don't think about Harvest Moon that often, but this was fairly cheap, and overall, I think I'd enjoy Harvest Moon because a lot of farm simulation games I have either tried out at least for a little bit, or they interest me enough to purchase them, so they're already in my library as it is. But Harvest Moon DS is one that I want to get to. I have Harvest Moon for the GameCube as well, so I want to decide whether or not I want to get into this first or the Harvest Moon on the GameCube, but I might just do this one since it's portable. So score 1 for the DS. Next up, I've got Kingdom Hearts 358 divided by 2. Yes. People actually really love this game, and people say this game made them cry towards the end. So I'm actually very excited to play this game. I've played a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 1. I really want to get back into that, hopefully this year, because my entire gaming goal for this year, which I should actually just make a whole short video about, my entire gaming goal for this year is to touch as many franchises as possible, get educated, or at least like have a foothold in as many like franchises that people are familiar with as possible. And that includes finishing a Kingdom Hearts 1 playthrough, But Kingdom Hearts 358 divided by 2 days, that is a game that I definitely want to hit solely because people actually have had strong emotional reactions to this game. And I've seen this interviewed, referenced in so many different video essays that I have to get to it. So next up, I've got Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. I got the case for this game first, and then I got the game like last year, but I had the case for like 3 years, and then I got the game like a year later. So this game was really just sitting on my shelf, just case only. But now I actually have the game. Played every Mario and Luigi game for a few minutes at the minimum, right? Aside from this one and Bowser's Inside Story, I think. But this one interests me a lot because I don't know. I think it reminds me of Superstar Saga a lot. I think this game came after Superstar Saga. I think maybe, but overall, I really want to jump into this because the Mario and Luigi franchise, especially Superstar Saga, I love Superstar Saga, is one that I really want to jump into. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. I love the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games franchise. But I did not play the original on the DS. I played the Winter Olympic Games. That was my introduction to the franchise. And I literally was like, oh my goodness, Mario and Sonic together. This is insane. I didn't know anything about the rivalry at this time. I just was like, I was a kid, so I was like, oh my gosh, Mario, oh my gosh, Sonic, same game. Wow. I didn't like crossovers were like a new thing to me at this point. Like it was a fresh concept just now starting to come back because they killed it for like crypto, but like they're bringing it back now. I think I don't know if the bringing it back part is real. The killing it for crypto is. Mario Sonic Olympic Games. I've played a little bit of this. I think it's fine. I prefer the Wii version, obviously. But yeah, I much prefer the Olympic Winter Games DS title compared to the original DS title. Which brings me to this Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. This game's peak. I don't care what anyone says. I played it recently, and it obviously did not age as well as I thought it did, or as it didn't play as well as I remembered. But Mario Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games is a phenomenal time if you just want to get into some classic Olympic sports action. And who doesn't want to do that? Is that not just a common occurrence, a common event? There's really not that much to say about it because it's really a childhood pick. A lot of these games are childhood picks. Next up, I've got Mario Kart DS. What else can we say about Mario Kart DS? This game is phenomenal. It's amazing. Is it one of the best Mario Kart games? No, I was of that opinion around the time that I bought the game because I hadn't played it in a long time, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, Mario Kart DS! I remember this game. This game is still a classic. It's a banger." And then I booted it up again, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, it's not horrible, but it's definitely not as good as any recent Mario Kart, like at all." And I mean, since this, there was Wii, and Wii still holds up really well, so this actually has no excuse. Uh, there's 7, there's 8, 8 Deluxe, World, and I have all of those Mario Kart games over this. But it's still a fun time. It's still a great time for sure, and I enjoyed the fact that I got to buy it again, play it again. And I've got Mega Man Battle Network 5. This is have a subtitle. Double Team DS. It's a DS era. Everything has to have that double thing on it. But yeah, Mega Man Battle Network as a franchise is not one that I am into yet because I haven't played a single game. But I've watched my friends stream it because they're huge Mega Man Battle Network fans. Actually, I have a lot of Mega Man Battle Network fans in my inner orbit, so there really is no reason I have not played this game. Shout out Luke. He has been my main introduction and conduit to this franchise. And every single person I know who is like tech versed or like, in tech, they work in tech, has played this game and they love this game. And as someone who also works in tech, there really is no reason as to why I've not got on this game yet. And hopefully, when I do get on this game, I'm also obsessed with it because I don't know. I like picking up games for vibes, and this would be a great game to enjoy just off the vibes alone. So, yeah, and yeah, it's 2 games in one. Let's see here. It's got uh-huh. Team Proto Man and Team Colonel. Then I've got Naruto Shippuden, Ninja Destiny 2. So this game was a bundle pick. So I got Pokemon. Was it Platinum or I think it was a Pokemon game. White. I got Pokemon White from a friend from middle school, and he threw this in. Now, as a collector, I was like, of course, I'm gonna love to just get a game thrown in. and it was a Naruto game too, so I was like, it's even better. But I played a little bit of this, and I don't really like it. But again, I'm not too surprised because it is a anime game on the DS, and anime games like man, I mean Budokai changed a lot of things, and of course Budokai is like a generation before this, but overall, I would say that I'm just not really the biggest fan of a lot of Naruto games that aren't Ninja Storm. And even then, like, I'm not super into Ninja Storm, so that's kind of like the thing that gets me here. But next up, we got Phineas and Ferb for Nintendo DS. I played a lot of this game. I never finished this game. It's actually kind of robust. I jumped back into this game a couple months ago, and yeah, it's pretty much exactly how I remember it. There were some parts of it that were like a little confusing as a kid, but which are fine now. But I don't really want to play this game. It also has like Disney's version of like U Connect or like whatever like their proprietary internet thing or whatever, like Disney Gamer, like D Gamer. I think that was what it's called, D Gamer. And uh, yeah, I'm looking at it right now, D Gamer. It's just charming because it comes from an era where there were so many different companies that were trying stuff like that, and they wanted to just kind of like create these like online communities that were like just for kids who are experiencing like cartoons and cartoon like games or games made off their cartoons. But now there's just nothing like that. Like they're just 14-year-olds on Twitter. So like that's like so I don't know. I find this just very charming. So because it's from a relic, it's a bygone era, a bygone relic. Phoenix Wright's Ace Attorney. I have not played a Phoenix Wright game. I have watched streams of a Phoenix Wright game, but my personal opinion is that watching a stream of a game does not mean that you played it, but that is for an entirely different video. Phoenix Wright's Ace Attorney is a game that another friend of mine, shout out Brendan, is super, super into, and I want to get into it as well. It may have something to do with the fact that he's going to become a lawyer. But hey, overall, I think this game is one that I'm interested in, but the kind of hurdle is that it's basically a visual novel, and I'm not really a VN type of guy. So um, I don't know if I posted that on the channel, but like I played Doki Doki with some friends, and that is as far as I've gone in terms of visual novels. But overall, it's Phoenix Wright, one of the most legendary characters in gaming. I'm gonna get to it eventually. Whether or not I'm going to like it or I'm gonna play it for more than like 30 minutes is to be seen. But I'm gonna get to it eventually. Next up, I've got Pokemon Ranger. Now, the Pokemon side games from back in the day are ones that really interest me a lot because they made so many of these, and they don't really make these at the same clip anymore or with the same sauce or flavor, or maybe just because I'm older. Because there's stuff like Pokemon Cafe Mix and Pokemon Unite and Pokemon Blocks or whatever. Like I don't know what it's called or whatever, but these games are games that I just am drawn to because there's a difference between something like Pokemon Ranger and Pokemon Cafe Mix. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like a whole new like, all right, we're gonna try something like just different that could like coexist alongside the main appeal of the Pokemon games, as opposed to making something that's like Pokemon but with the Animal Crossing DNA inside of it, if that makes any sense. But no, to give my whole rant a cap, I've not played this game. I want to. Will I anytime soon? Probably not. Next up, I've got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Darkness. Every Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game that came out for the GBA, I've played. Not for the DS though, because that was back during my, I learned what emulation was, so I was really on the emulation bandwagon. Uh, but Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Darkness is a game that I haven't touched yet, and I want to. Mystery Dungeon games are kind of long, and to be honest, I think maybe the whole Mystery Dungeon appeal is something that kind of reached its peak for me when I was younger. So I don't really know whether or not I'll get to this anytime soon. But it's Pokemon, it's Mystery Dungeon. It's already, got two things that I like, in terms of the main franchise and the side game. In that same vein, I've got Explorers of Time. I was checking to see if I have Explorers of Sky as well, but I don't. But yeah, I've got Explorers of Time. Same thing, same deal, same shtick. Next up, we've got Pokemon White. And as a spoiler, I've also got Pokemon Black. So it's not always black and white. If your heart always knows what's right, it's not about win or lose. It's the path you choose when the journey begins. Oh, Pokemon White is one of the best Pokemon games of all time. It's the best Pokemon game of all time. It is an absolute banger. You will not find a bigger Gen 5 fan than me. So I could sing this game's praises all day long. Honestly, when the Pokemon retrospective time comes, or the time to be reflective of the Pokemon franchise, because it's the 30th anniversary as of the making of this video, or in the year of the making of this video, I got to talk about Pokemon Black and White because this game was phenomenal. And overall, I'd like to say that the time era, or around this time that this game came out, it was truly something, man. Because I remember people making fun of the fact that there was a chandelier Pokemon, there was an ice cream Pokemon now, and now all of a sudden it's everyone's favorite Pokemon game, and it's because, weird. Sometimes the real win. Real recognizes real, man, and that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. But Pokemon Black and White, phenomenal Pokemon games. What else can be said about these, man? That's why I should just move on, and move on I shall to even better games. Low key. Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. Honestly, I don't think I've grappled with the question on which games are better between Black 2 and White 2 and Black and White. Primarily because I just see them so much as this combined package where it's like, after I play Black and White, I immediately want to play Black 2 and White 2. And that's just evident by the fact that I do that every single time. So this is actually my childhood copy. That Pokemon White was a game that I got like a year ago ish. But this is actually my childhood copy, and for that, I'm really grateful for the fact that I still have it. I don't think I have like any of the inserts, but I got the game. This is something else. It still has my save file from back in the day. It is truly something that I consider to be like my childhood in a cartridge. In that same vein, I've got Pokemon White 2. I got this also a year ago ish. So this is not my childhood copy. My childhood copy was stolen from me at a party that I hosted at my own house. So that is kind of the sore spot here. So I really should have that game with me. I took care of that game. I loved it so much. It was with me everywhere I went, and the fact that it's gone is just it just really tears at me, actually. But Pokemon White 2 is a classic. It's a banger, and I prefer it more than I prefer Black 2, but that's mostly because I like Reshiram more than I like Kyurem. So Reshiram more than I like Zekrom. Sorry, my bad. I like Reshiram more than I like Zekrom. Speaking of, I've got Pokemon Soul Silver. I don't have Hard Gold complete in box, but I do have Hard Gold. I've got inserts, the game. My friend gave me this little GBA thing. I think it comes with a Pokemon ROM hack, but it's like on a GBA cartridge. But yeah, Pokemon Soul Silver. I actually have never played Soul Silver. I played Hard Gold because I own Hard Gold. I didn't own Soul Silver, so I'm actually excited for my Pokemon marathon for this year to finally play through the alternate versions of games that I actually never got a chance to play, and this will be one of them. I think I'll talk a little bit more at length about the remakes, like the Gen 4 remakes, or sorry, Gen 2 remakes, once I actually get to Hard Gold. Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box. I'm not even going to make that joke. I'm sorry. I've not played a Professor Layton game. I'm not really a puzzle game person. I like to just encounter my puzzles organically as I play the game, or as I play other games. But Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box is a game that I've been somewhat interested in because people really like Professor Layton. I have, I think, one friend who is also into Professor Layton, and I see these games revealed like every 2 or 3 Nintendo Directs, and I'm like, man, like I think I just gotta try one of these things eventually because back during the 3DS Wii U era, these things were coming out, man. I have no idea. I don't think I've seen a Professor Layton game in a while though. Ooh, and a Black Boy Spit, I've never played Sonic Chronicles, but I really, really want to because the concept of a Sonic RPG that is really bad, that most of the franchise doesn't talk about it, is so interesting to me because the Sonic franchise loves talking about games that are bad and sometimes twisting it in ways that they believe they're good. I'm looking directly at you, Sonic Heroes. But Sonic Chronicles and the Dark Brotherhood is a game that I think is interesting. It's interesting that it exists, but people, of course, say it's really bad. So I've never really been drawn to try it out anytime soon. But I had to get it because I was like, Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing. I think my original copy of the game was lost ish, I think. Or I got a case and I put it around the original copy. I'm not entirely sure. But this is also a childhood game. Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing is actually a really good racing game, as evident by the fact that it started off the whole Sonic Racing as a franchise thing. I know, of course, there was Sonic R and I think Sonic Drift. But overall, this is like where the actual DNA of the current Sonic Racing games, like Crossworlds and Team Sonic Racing, this is where it originates from. And I like it a lot because the Sega All Stars tag is still here. I think eventually they just drop it for like Sonic Racing Transformed. But I got introduced to so many different Sega franchises through this. It's kind of crazy seeing the franchises Sega promotes now, like Persona and Yakuza, and like how like they don't really have the shine here. I mean, granted, like they weren't as big franchises when this game came out, but it's interesting seeing like I think that's the name of the monkey, the guy from Shenmue, the guy from Samba de Amigo. I'm saying the guy from, but I know the girl's name from Space Patrol, Space Channel 5 or something, but I can't even. It's not coming to me. I'm sorry. But yeah, this game's pretty good. Very solid racing game actually. And honestly, I think it's low key worth your time to check out if you want something that's a racing game on the DS that is not Mario Kart DS. I really don't know any other racing game, so that's why you're getting recommended this one. Next, I've got the original Scribblenauts. Scribblenauts just interested me so much as a kid because the moment you tell me in this game you can do anything, I was like, anything? I just had to get it. I just had to get it. But of course, I didn't get it when I was younger, so I kind of fulfilled that childhood dream. Got it now. Of course, I know it's not really as widely available as one may think. But hey, Scribblenauts, man, it's you can think it, you can write it, you can play it. That's the three. Don't wear it out. SpongeBob SquarePants, Creature from the Krusty Krab. It's a SpongeBob game. I actually played a good amount of SpongeBob games growing up. I have not played the console version of this game. I've not finished this game, but I played a lot of this game, like a lot of the different. I don't know if it was mini games, but like just like because the actual platforming gameplay is broken up by like all these different like parts of mini games. Because I think it takes place in like SpongeBob's dream. I don't know, but like overall, it's fine. I really don't have much to say about this. Oh my gosh, what y'all know about this? This is probably the worst Nicktoons game, honestly. Well, I think Attack of the Toy Bots might be like this is the actual final nail in the coffin. But I don't know if this came before or after Attack of the Toy Bots, so I'm just gonna say this one for ones I've actually played. But Globs of Doom is great. It sucks that they like dropped like the Nicktoons tag, and I think there are like less Nicktoons in here than originally expected, or you'd originally expect with it being the third entry in the Nicktoons Unite franchise. But this is still a pretty solid game. Again, as a kid, I love crossovers. I was like, you're telling me a character I love from one show can meet a character I love from another show? I don't know, man. You see Danny Phantom and SpongeBob interact, and you're like, this is absolutely incredible. Yeah, I'm not really that big of a fan of this game. I think the mix of the villains and heroes in here took away from the fact that we could have just had more heroes. But oh my gosh, what y'all know about this? SpongeBob SquarePants, the Yellow Avenger. So when I was younger, I went through like a huge superhero phase. This game contributed to it a lot because I don't know what it was. Like, it's just this like I love SpongeBob, and they paired it up by like making it where he's just a hero the entire time, and it's just dope. I've not finished this game. I think I ran into that whole thing where stupid kid, ran into a section that didn't understand, restarted the game, and just played up into that section over and over again. That was basically how it was. But man, what a game, man! I'm low key enticed to boot it up again for like 10 minutes and just bask in what used to be like a really go-to game for me. Super Princess Peach. So the thing about Super Princess Peach is that I haven't played the game, but I've always been interested in the fact that they made like a platformer, like a Mario platformer, and it stars Princess Peach. I was like, okay, this is actually pretty interesting. And I thought Princess Peach Showtime would be something that would be like a little closer to this. But from the people who've played it, it's not really. So I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in that area. But I do want to really get to this game. Some really good sprite work too. I feel like that's one thing that like really drew me towards this. We've got Up for the DS. When I tell you there are some legacy picks in here, I really mean there are some legacy picks in here. This game is not good. It I genuinely played it a little bit ago, and the worst part too is that I remember being a kid and thinking this game was not that good, and then I played as an adult, and I'm like, oh, I really don't want to play this game because for some reason, every game that was like a film to game adaptation, like felt the need to like break up the core gameplay with as many mini games as possible. And it's like just focus on the core gameplay, gang. This part is just not that fun. Moving the stylus like this to like do something weird like for like 5 minutes or like 2 minutes is just not. It's not it, man. So yeah, up for the DS. It's down. I'm sorry. Valkyrie Profile. I got this game solely because shout out Emily at Orbology. She was like, this game is a banger. Well, I think she just said the Valkyrie Chronicle games in general. But I was like, oh, okay. I want more RPGs. I think RPGs on the DS are something that I actually really want to get into because, man, a lot of stuff from Nintendo's output, or like not Nintendo's output, but just more so like what people were putting on Nintendo's consoles around this time are just not that good or stuff that you'd want to revisit as an adult. So I really wanted to jump into like more stuff that's like Valkyrie Profile and more stuff that's like Trauma Center and more stuff that's like The World Ends With You, where like this is like, oh, this is actually something like not like a, oh, I'm a mature gamer, but just more so like this feels like it's like up to my standards as like someone who can like actually follow instructions in a video game, if that makes any sense. And I'm going to present these at the same time. I've got The World Ends With You, both the Japanese version and both the Japanese version and the original version. Now, I got the Japanese version from a friend, shout out Sam. I actually really like a lot of the aesthetics on the box of the Japanese version compared to the American version. I got the American version because, again, I can't speak Japanese. And if I ever run into a situation where I'm really dying to play The World Ends With You, I don't want to be stonewalled by the fact that I literally just can't speak Japanese. But I actually think this game is one of those where you can change the language to English. I think there's like maybe 4 or 5 DS games like that. So who knows? Maybe this purchase was redundant, but we'll see. If that's the case, I would of course play this one instead of the other one. But what else can be said about The World Ends With You that has not already been said? One of those cult classic RPGs, and I would be absolutely delighted to get to it eventually. So those are all the complete in box games I've got. But what about those loose games? What about those games that I don't love as much to get boxes for? Or I just only want to pay $30 on eBay to get actual cases for? Well, viewer, here they are. First up, I've got Ben 10 Alien Force. Talk about a game that is way better console wise than portable. I really just can't stress enough how, at least with Ultimate Alien Cosmic Destruction, it's got maybe some cool level design. It's doing some fun things with the sprite work. Ben 10 Alien Force on the DS is just not as good as his console game, and even then, his console game is just kind of like especially compared to Protective Earth. Protective Earth is just way better than any Ben 10 game that comes after it, aside from maybe Omniverse on like the Wii U. My goat, El Tigre for the DS. Now, I have the El Tigre game for the PS2 and the El Tigre game for the DS. And the thing I love the most about the era that I grew up in, right, is that all these different niche cartoons got video games. And the fact that El Tigre got a video game, not just on the DS, but also on the PS2, and in my opinion, they're really good video games. Just says something to the culture that we lived in. We used to be a country, man. We used to be a country. I really like the DS version of the game, probably more than the PS2 version, if I'm just being frank, because I like the whole beat 'em up side scroll thing, the signature moves you can learn. I like the fact how at the very end of the game, you can be either good or evil depending on what you did throughout the game. If you did a lot of property damage, pretty much then you're evil. If you just focus on beating up bad guys, then you're good. And it locked you out of like using certain moves if like you're on one path. It was actually pretty dope. But the PS2 version, of course, has an actual episode of the show. So let you decide which one is better. Next up, I've got Garfield Fun Fest. This game is not good. It's not good, but hey, it's Garfield. So there's always going to be that meme potential. Garfield Kart, of course, don't even got to mention that. But Garfield Fun Fest is like, it's these like really crappy mini games, and I haven't played it in a while, but I also don't really want to play it either. So, um, yeah, it's Don't know what else to say about it, man. It's really bad. I've got Lego Star Wars for the DS. Like many of the games I've talked about today, I prefer the console version of this game compared to the portable version, but the portable version is not bad at all. I think it runs fine. I think it's honestly a fine enough experience. If you grew up just having a DS, sometimes you had to be in those trenches. You had to stay out in the cold. It's going to be freezing. It's going to be freezing. And when you know that it's freezing, you know that you're doing too much. I think that's the Rick Ross quote. Lego Star Wars on DS it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's mid. I think people still use that term, right? Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Um, Overall, I already mentioned that Mario Luigi Partners in Time. I have not played that. I also have not played Bowser's Inside Story. I want to. I'm going to, because this is considered to be, I think, the best Mario and Luigi game. Just with how often I hear about it. It got remade. People still talk about this game. What else can be said about this game, especially when you haven't played this game like I have? I really don't know. I think you play as Bowser in this. That's actually kind of cool. So, yeah, I mean, you do the same thing in Odyssey, but that was later. So this stuff got Pokemon Black, banger. This is my preferred version of the game. Obviously, I played a little bit of White, but I haven't played enough to like be definitive in that statement. Gen 5 is amazing. I've already spoken at length about Gen 5. Gen 5, man. Gen 5. Gen 5, Gen 5. Gen 5, Gen 5. I think Gen 5 is also a so Gen 5, Gen 5, Gen 5, Gen 5, Gen 5, Gen 5, Gen 5. A Pokemon game I haven't talked about yet though. Pokemon Diamond. Honestly, I'm not that big of a fan of the Sinnoh games anymore. I like Sinnoh as a region. I think Sinnoh has way more aura than it has enjoyability when you play it. Now, I don't want to get crucified by Pokemon fans by saying that, but it's mostly just due to this game. I think Pokemon Diamond is kind of slow to get into. I think the fact that Pokedex is so limiting is one of those things that I absolutely hate about it. One thing about a Pokedex, even if I don't vibe with a lot of the Pokemon in there, like Paldea, at least I got variety, I got options, and who knows, maybe I'll come around to liking them on because I do it all the time. With Sinnoh, I just don't feel that way. I just don't feel that way at all, man. But Pokemon Diamond, it's a legacy pick. I loved Pokemon Diamond growing up. I loved Sinnoh growing up. Obviously, I love a couple more regions now over it. Now that I'm older, but it is basically the go-to Gen Z slash millennial. Actually, no, just more Gen Z. It's the go-to Gen Z Pokemon game. I've got Pokemon Heart Gold. Talking about Pokemon games, this is my original copy, and you can actually see over here kind of a little bit of that wear and tear. Oh, oh, can you focus? Can you focus? Boom! In the Ford Focus. Pokemon Heart Gold is a Pokemon game that I love with all my heart. It has, actually, no, it doesn't anymore. It did have my original save file on it, but I took it out because I generally really wanted to play Pokemon Heart Gold again, and I did. But overall, I love this game to pieces. I think a lot of the Gen 2 slander is people just being idiots and they want to be different. I normally don't say this when people give their opinions on stuff because I think it's really dumb and stupid, and I really don't like it when I give my opinion and people are like, "You're trying to be different." But I genuinely feel this way because no one was hating on Gen 2 until like 4 years ago, I swear. So now I have to hear Gen 2 slander every single time I talk about how much I love Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It's dumb. Again, I'm joking. If you don't like Gen 2 and Johto, that's fine. I think Gen 2 and Johto has problems. Honestly, kind of more problems than Diamond and Pearl, but like, I don't know. It's a little different to me. I like this. I like this game too much. Back to Gen 4 though. Pokemon Platinum. So what I said about Sinnoh, um, I think when I'm playing this game, we can just kind of put all that to the side because I love Platinum a lot. Actually, probably my favorite third version, if I'm being frank. Crystal's all right. Emerald is really good, but Platinum is kind of that one where I'm like, oh my gosh. Not only do the protagonists have more drip, that's the first thing I always think about when I think about Platinum. The protagonists got more drip. They added like one more fire type option, so goaded. I think Cynthia's team is harder ish. I think maybe there's like a couple changes in terms of gym structure and levels, but overall, Platinum is just that patch to the game that is badly needed, and that's why I love it so much. Ooh, next up I got Sonic Rush. This is the childhood copy. Sonic Rush as a game, what else can I say about it? It is one of the most underrated 2D Sonic games of all time, solely because a lot of the Genesis games get the shine, and outside of that, like maybe people talk about like Sonic Mania, of course. Not maybe they will, but then on top of that as well, I think you'd also get like the advanced games before you get Sonic Rush, and I think that's crazy to me because Sonic Rush is awesome and introduced one of the best Sonic characters in the franchise in Blaze, and it's just is fun, man. Like and I think it's Sonic. It's either Sonic Rush's final boss or Adventures, Sonic Rush Adventures. But um, there's like a remix, like a Malcolm X speech in there. Like it's like the too black, too strong, too black, too strong. Generally, look this up if you don't believe me. And yeah, Sonic Rush is just it's awesome, man. It's so cool. Sonic Rush Adventure, a little less so. I normally like the running part of Sonic games. They added like a boat element in here. Sonic Rush Adventure has aura though, and its soundtrack is gas. It's phenomenal. So I have like a soft spot in my heart for it, but I don't really like played it. I don't know. People, you guys know what I'm talking about if you've experienced games like this. So you know what I love playing though, the legendary Starfy. Now, people are really drawn to Kirby, right? I like Kirby games a lot too, but there are people who like Kirby merch, etc. I wish Starfy took off the way Kirby did in the West. I know, uh, Starfy is like kind of big in Japan. I say kind of in the same way that like any niche Nintendo franchise could be big. It was bigger in Japan. It had a Fire Emblem thing going on, but the Legendary Starfy, I just love this game so much because I think it's so cute. It has so much aura and sauce. It's just like it's a really nice experience. It just kind of calms your heart. You know those games that just calm your heart? I think the Legendary Starfy is one of those games. It just calms your heart. And that is what I love the most about Legendary Starfy. If you haven't played it, genuinely do. I think because I currently work at a game store part time, and I put the Legendary Starfy as one of like my recommended picks for the store. And someone bought it, and I was genuinely so happy because I love this game so much, and I replayed it like from start to finish like 2 years ago, and I thought it was just a blast, and I loved it so much, and I was like, this game has aged as well as I thought it did. It is a banger. Please play the Legendary Starfy, and Loki, if you do, like DM me or like go into my comment section, just be like, hey man, I played it and I love it. Or even if you have already played it before, I want to see some Starfy truthers in my comment section, man. Real Starfy patriots, rise up and tell me about this game. We got to move on though. Super Mario 64 DS, another legacy pick. I don't feel strongly about this game, to be honest. So I didn't play much of like the actual part of Super Mario 64 when I had this game. I played the mini games. Shout out the Luigi Poker mini game. I played that a ton, and also like the one where it's like a construction site or something. I forget like what exactly that was, but yeah, I played the mini games out of this more, and I've discussed a little bit like on external stuff, like either I think my reviews or like one of my reviews for the game, and also the podcast. But I don't like Super Mario 64 actually, so I know got some good mini games. That's what I got to say about this one. Trauma Center Under the Knife. I haven't played a Trauma Center game yet. I'm not sure if this is going to be good, but people, this is actually a pretty popular DS game, so I'm excited to jump into it. People like Trauma Center, and that's all I got to say about this one. Transformers Prime the game. This came included with a 3DS that I bought. I have no interest to play this game. If I could offload it, I would, but like I kind of don't like the practice of like offloading my garbage onto retro game stores, so I just kind of hold it. But maybe one of these days when I have something that like they'd actually want, I'd pair this like with the game because this is not going to stay in the collection for very long. And finally, I've got Yoshi's Island DS. Yoshi's Island DS is not a game I played. I want to play a Yoshi's Island game this year. Book it. It's happening this year, 2026. And if it doesn't, you have the right to unsubscribe. Don't, but you have the right. And it turns out I lied. I got one more pick. Metroid Prime Hunters First Hunt. This is a legacy pick. It's not the original game, but it is a legacy pick. But man, I played this a ton growing up. It is the demo, so yeah, it's not braided as you can see, but it's a demo, and I'm really excited to like actually get the regular game eventually one of these days. The regular game is expensive though, But yeah, man, this is probably the first DS game I ever played. So that's like how ingrained it is in here. Like just the memories I have with it. And that will do it. Thank you guys so much for joining me as I look into my DS collection. The Nintendo DS is a very personal system for me, primarily because I got so many DS revisions growing up. That was probably the one console where my parents were comfortable getting so many different revisions for me. And so it was nice to like take this trip down memory lane, look at some games that I thought were a little mid, look at some games that I thought were, I have actually good memories of, and look at some games that I really want to get to in the future. So that's the cool thing about the DS's library. I've got all different things. It covers so many different aspects of it, man. And I'm grateful for that. But thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out.